Hello everyone, I'm Mike from Shaw English. Welcome to my English grammar course on the active and passive voice. In this course, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about changing from the active voice to the passive voice. There will be a lot of homework, quizzes, as well as many examples to help you become true masters of the active and passive voice. Are you ready to start learning? Let's get to it. So before we can start switching our sentences from active to passive, it's very important for us to understand the different parts of a sentence. Let's look at our board. Here we have a sentence written, "The boy opened the door." This is an example of an active sentence, which usually follows the pattern of subject, verb, object. Our subject, the doer, is the boy. But what did the boy do? The boy opened. Open is an example of an action. What did the boy open? The boy opened the door. The door is the receiver or the direct object. So again, before we can really switch our sentences from active to passive, it's very important for us to understand the different parts of a sentence. And the more that we understand different parts of a sentence, the easier it will be to switching active sentences to passive sentences. So now let's switch our active sentence over to a passive one. Here's our sentence from before. The boy opened the door. Now we have the door was opened by the boy. Like I mentioned earlier, for active sentences, they follow the subject, verb, object pattern. Well, it's a little bit different from the passive sentence. Before we had the receiver at the end of the sentence. Now we have the receiver in the beginning of the sentence. The door was opened. Wow, our verb is the same, or the action is the same. But we have a to be verb added on. Was opened. It's our to be verb plus the past participle of open. Now, it could also be these to be verbs as well, but we're going to use was, and this will change depending on the tense that we're using in our sentence. We also have the door being opened by the boy. Now, the reason why we have it in brackets is because sometimes we don't need to know who is the doer. In this sense, the boy is the doer, and this by helps us understand that it is the boy who is opening the door. Let's look at some more examples. Okay, so now we have examples of active sentences that we're going to change to passive sentences. Let's look at our first one. The woman helped the man. We learned earlier that whenever we're changing active sentences to passive sentences, we are going to need to switch our doer and our receiver. In this one, the doer, who is the woman, is going to switch places with the receiver, who is the man. Because now the man is the focus of the sentence and will now come to the front. The man. But what's our action? Well, in our sentence before, our action is helped. We're going to now change this to the past participle, which luckily for us, the past participle is helped. Now we're going to add our to be verb, which is was. So the man was helped. By whom? The woman, which is now at the end of the sentence. The man was helped by the woman. Let's look at our next one. The cat bit the girl. Just like we learned before, we're going to switch our doer and our receiver. So now the girl is in the front of the sentence. The girl, bit, the past participle of bit. This one's a little bit different. Bit is going to change to bitten. When we add our to be verb was, the girl was bitten. By what? The cat. The girl was bitten by the cat. The knife cut the bread. The bread was cut by the knife. I think we're getting this. The student answered the question. The question was answered by the student. And our last one, the teacher taught the class. The class was taught by the teacher. Wow, I think we're getting better. Let's move on. So earlier we changed some sentences from the active to the passive voice. Well, now let's practice recognizing sentences in the active and passive voice. Our first one, the bat hit the ball. Well, I can see that the doer of my action is the bat. What did the bat do? The action is hit. The bat hit. What's the receiver? The ball. The bat hit the ball. Oh, this is definitely a sentence written in the active voice. The food was cooked by the man. Now, there are some big clues in this sentence. By the man, oh yeah, that's a clue. Also, was cooked. Well, here's our past participle and our to be verb. This sentence for sure is a sentence written in the passive voice. The floor was cleaned. Okay, so I see I have my to be verb was and my past participle cleaned. But it seems like I'm missing something. I have the receiver, but not the doer. It's okay. Like we mentioned before, for some sentences, you may not have the doer. This is an example of a passive sentence without the doer. The essay about the economy was written by the student. Now it's okay. I know this is a big sentence, but I know we can do it. Because, boom, by the student. There's our clue. Also, was written. We have our past participle and our to be verb. This is a sentence written in passive voice. And our last one, we're almost there. Stay with me. The best team won the football game. Good job, team. Our team is our doer. What did the team do? What's the action? The team won. What did they win? They won the football game. This is definitely a sentence written in the active voice. Good job. That's some good practicing recognizing sentences written in the active and passive voice. Now let's move on. You now have a basic understanding of active and passive voice, but you're not done yet because you have homework. You are going to change this active voice sentence into a passive one. Mike taught the passive voice. Again, change this sentence into a passive voice sentence and write it in the comments below. Also, you have a quiz. You will find a link for the quiz in the description. Please make sure that you like the video as well as subscribe if you want to see more videos by me. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Hello everyone, this is Mike from Shaw English. Today we're going to learn about active and passive voice in English with different tenses. Now I know many of you know how to use the active voice, but switching it to the passive voice can be somewhat confusing. And then now we're going to use different tenses as well. Past tense, present tense, and future tense. Oh my God, what are we going to do? No worries. You're going to be masters of this very soon. So make sure you stay until the end of the video because we're going to do a lot of practice and you're going to have a quiz and homework. Are you ready? Let's get to it. So let's review changing from active voice to passive voice. So here, the child is opening the door. We learned from before that active voices, they follow the subject, verb, object pattern. Here, our subject or the doer is the child. But what is the child doing? The child is opening. Ooh, Here we have ing attached to our verb open, which makes opening. This is present continuous, which means that the child is opening the door right now at this moment. And of course, the receiver is the door. Now, when we're switching over to passive voice, we learned from before that our doer and our receiver swap places. So like in our sentence here, our doer and receiver are now in two different spots. So the door is now in the beginning of the sentence and the child is at the end. The door is being opened by the child. The door is still our receiver, is being opened. So now our verb has changed a little bit. Our action has changed. So we still have is and we have be. So we have our to be verb, but we must continue our present continuous and bring down the ing. So is being, and we have our past participle, opened. Is being opened by the child. And here we have our preposition with the doer. And sometimes the doer is left out of sentences. And that's okay, as long as we know that the door is being opened. Now let's practice and learn about some more tenses. All right, everyone. Let's practice going from active voice to passive voice using different tenses. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and practice some of these tenses together, starting with the present simple. The teacher helps the student. So we know that this is an active voice, and now we're going to change it into passive voice. The student is helped by the teacher, and is our to be verb, and the past participle would be helped. Let's look at present continuous. The teacher is helping the student. Ooh, there's that ing again. And we'll switch that over to the student is being, and there's the present continuous back with us in our to be verb. Helped, there is our past participle by the teacher. Present perfect, the teacher has helped the student. The student has been helped by the teacher. Past simple, the teacher helped the student. The student was helped by the teacher. Past continuous, the teacher was helping the student. The student was being helped by the teacher. Okay, so past perfect, the teacher had helped the student. The student had been helped by the teacher. Future simple, the teacher will help the student. The student will be helped by the teacher. Future continuous, the teacher will be helping the student. The student will be being helped by the teacher. And everyone, just remember that this tense is normally not used with the passive voice. Future perfect, the teacher will have helped the student. The student will have been helped by the teacher. So everyone, how do you feel? Feel more confident? Awesome. Hopefully you have a much larger understanding of how to change active voice to passive voice using different tenses. Now you're not done yet because you have homework. I want you to change this sentence into the passive voice and put it in the comments. Also, wait, don't go anywhere. You have a quiz. Okay, the link for the quiz is in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, as well as subscribe to see more videos taught by me. And until the next video, I'll see you all later. Bye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Shaw English. My name is Mike, and today I'm going to continue teaching you about the active and passive voice and when and how to use it. Now, I know this can be quite challenging, but I know you're also doing your best and you're doing a good job. Make sure you stay until the end of the video because you will have homework and a quiz. Are you ready to get started? All right, let's do it. One of the main reasons why we use passive voice is because we want to emphasize the receiver instead of the doer. For example, Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. In this sentence, which is an active voice, Leonardo is our focus, the painter. The Mona Lisa, the painting, is the receiver. We want to switch them to where now the receiver is in the beginning of the sentence and the doer is at the end. So now our sentence is, the Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Our focus is now on the receiver, the Mona Lisa, rather than the painter, Leonardo da Vinci. Another reason that we change sentences into the passive voice is because we do not know the doer of the action. For example, somebody stole my cell phone. I do not know who, so instead I can express this in the passive voice, my cell phone was stolen. And again, since we don't really know who did it, we want to focus more on the phone instead. My phone was stolen. Another reason to use the passive voice could be the doer is just not that important. For example, the company was founded in 1955. We may or may not know who founded the company, but it's not important. What is important is that the company was founded in 1955. Also, the house was built in 1955. We may or may not know who built the house, but again, it's not important. What is important is the house was built in 1955. Another reason to use the passive voice is because sometimes we don't want to blame or say someone is responsible for something. For example, mistakes were made. Now, mistakes were made by someone, but we don't want to blame that person. We don't want to say it is their fault. So instead, we just leave them off and say, mistakes were made. Another reason to use the passive voice is because the doer is not a specific person. For example, English is spoken in many countries around the world. We could add by many people, but because it's a really unspecified group of people, we kind of just leave it off because it's not very necessary. And the last reason why we use passive voice is for academic writing. Whenever you're doing academic writing, such as essays or articles, we want to make it as least personal as possible and as professional as possible. I interviewed 3 people. Well, you can see we have the pronoun I. Well, we don't want to use that. We want to switch this sentence over to the passive voice. 3 people were interviewed. I could say by me, but again, we want to take out the I and me's and make it less personal as possible and just have 3 people were interviewed. Let's move on. Awesome job, everyone. I know you did such a great job and I know it was tough, but you did it. You now have a basic understanding of the how and when to use the passive voice. But you're not done. You have a little bit of homework to do. The teacher graded the homework. I want you to take this sentence, change it into the passive voice, and put it in the comments. Also, you have a quiz. In the description, you will find a link to the quiz. If you really like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to see more lessons taught by me. And until then, I'll see you all later. Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shaw English. My name is Mike, and today we're going to be reviewing the active and passive voice in English. Now, we've already made a good amount of videos on the passive voice, so if you haven't seen them, make sure you watch it here. Today, we are going to start with reviewing the basic grammar rule for passive voice, as well as the how and when to use the passive voice. We're going to do a ton of examples and give you so much practice. That way you are going to be masters of the passive voice. Make sure you stay until the end of the video because you will have a quiz and homework. Let's get to it. Let's review the basic grammar for the active and passive voice. We have a lovely sentence here. Dutch colonists founded New York in 1624. This is an example of a sentence that is written in the active voice. We have our doer, the Dutch colonist. We have our action, founded, as well as our receiver, New York. See, active sentences follow the subject-verb-object pattern. Again, our subject, our verb, and our object. Here is our sentence written in the passive voice. New York was founded in 1624. So in our active voice sentence, New York is the receiver and written at the end of the sentence. Well, now, in our passive voice sentence, New York is brought to the front because it is now our focus. Also, for our action, we need a to be verb and a past participle. In the active voice sentence, we have founded, which is written in the simple past tense. Well, our to be verb has to match with being simple past tense, so we have was and the past participle, which is founded. In 1624. I can swear something is missing though. What am I missing from this? By the Dutch colonists. We don't mention the Dutch colonist here, which is our doer. Why don't we mention the doer? As I mentioned in previous videos, sometimes when you write sentences in the passive voice, you leave out the doer because the information is unnecessary. Also, we're focusing on New York. So again, there's no reason to mention the Dutch colonists here. Let's move on to some more examples. I need your help filling these blanks. Can you help me? Of course you can. Let's read some of these sentences together. I ate the pizza. This sentence is written in the active voice. The pizza blank by me. This sentence is written, that's right, you guessed it, in the passive voice. I need to figure out what word goes in the blank. Well, the action is missing. If I look at the active voice sentence, I see that our action is ate, which is written in past tense. We remember from earlier that our action in passive voice sentences need a to be verb as well as a past participle. So I know that since this action is written in past tense, my to be verb also has to be written in past tense. So let's write was as our to be verb, but we still need a past participle. So looking at our action, ate, let me think. There's eat, ate, eaten. Eaten would be our past participle. And of course, who was it eaten by? Me. The pizza was eaten by me, and it was good pizza. Let's look at our second example. The scissors, or blank the paper. This is a sentence written in the active voice. Our passive voice sentence is, the paper was cut by the scissors. Well, since we have to figure out what's in the blank for our active voice sentence, let's look at the passive one to help us with that. The paper was cut by the scissors. Well, I have my to be verb as well as our past participle. Now it's almost like we're going backwards here, right? So we know that our to be verb, or the tense of our to be verb, has to match our action in our active voice sentence. Our past participle is cut. So when I think about what our action could be, let me see, this is cut, cut, and cut. Wow. So our action in our active voice sentence is cut. Because it can't be cutted, because that's not a word. So our past tense is cut the scissors, cut the paper. Whoa, good job, everyone. Let's move on to some more examples. All right, everyone. I need some help finding mistakes in these two sentences. Both of them are written in the passive voice. Let's look at the first one together. The book was wrote by Mike. Yeah, there's a mistake here. Well, I see I have my to be verb, was, but there's something about this past participle that just doesn't seem right. Well, what is the past participle of write? Let me see. There's write, wrote, written. Oh, how do we not know that? Written. The book was written by Mike. Yeah, that sounds right. I'm sure it was a good book. Our next one, the criminal was catched. Again, I see that we have our to be verb, which is was, but that feels right. But there's something about catched that doesn't. This may not be the right past participle. So let's think about the word catch. We have catch, caught, and caught. Oh, our past participle is caught. The criminal was caught, and I'm glad. Good job, everyone. Let's move on. I still need your help, everyone. Can you please help me figure out whether these sentences are written in the active or passive voice? All right, thanks. Let's look at the first one. The dog licked my face. Well, looking at this sentence, I do not see a to be verb, and my action licked is just written in past tense. This is definitely written in the active voice. The rat was studied by the scientist. Whoa, we have a lot of clues here. We can see that we have a to be verb, was, as well as, boom, we have a past participle. And by. We know that by sometimes tells us who's the doer. Well, this is definitely written in the passive voice. He kicked the ball. I don't see a to be verb here. And kick, saying it's written in the past tense. He kicked the ball. This is definitely written in the active voice. And our last one, all the patients were interviewed. Well, we can see the word were. This is a to be verb, as well as a past participle. There is no doer, so we also know that that's normal for passive voice sentences. All right, we did a good job again. Let's move on to some more examples. Okay, everyone, let's match the tenses in these active and passive voice sentences. Let's start here with this active voice sentence. I am cleaning my room. The passive voice sentence of that is, my room is blank by me. I can see that I have a to be verb is, but I'm not done. It's incomplete. Well, if I look at my action in the active voice sentence, we have cleaning. Cleaning is written in the present continuous tense. I know from earlier that my to be verb has to match with the same tense. So my room is being. Oh, that's a great to be verb to use. Being, but I'm missing the past participle. In our action, in the active voice sentence, we have cleaning. So we have clean, cleaned, cleaned. My room is being cleaned by me. Awesome. We're halfway there. Our next sentence, written in the active voice, I have made a cake. and it's a good cake. The passive voice sentence of that is, a cake has blank made by me. Well, just like before, we have our to be verb, but it's incomplete. We still have to finish it. So let me look back at the active voice sentence to try and help and see if I can figure this out. I have made a cake. This seems, this is written in the present perfect tense. And I know that my to be verb has to match in the passive voice sentence as well. So a cake has been. A cake has been made by me. Wow. Good job, everyone. Let's move on. Okay, students, let's see if we can find the mistakes written in these sentences. Both are written in the passive voice. Your package will be delivering. Ooh, something doesn't seem right. Your package will be delivering. This part seems like it's great. It's delivering. That one seems a little bit odd. I can see that I know it's written in the passive voice, and I have a to be verb, and this is future tense. This past participle is wrong. So I know the verb is delivered. All right, let's look at our next one. I has been punished by the teacher. Ooh, something doesn't feel right with this sentence at all. So from here, from our action on to our doer, we can see that this part is correct. I has been. I think we have the wrong to be verb here. So instead of saying has, we're going to write I have. I have been punished by the teacher. Good job, everyone. Let's move on. For our final example, let's review using the passive voice for academic writing. Here we have a sentence written in the active voice. In this study, I conducted a survey. Whenever you are doing academic writing, it's important to leave out words such as I or me. So you can switch from the active voice to the passive voice. A survey was conducted by me. Again, we want to avoid using words such as I or me because we are not the focus. We want to focus more on the topic, and in this case, the survey. So we're going to cross out by me, add a period, and have a survey was conducted. Now that sounds great. Let's move on. Wow, fantastic review, everybody. You did a great job. Now I know that you're becoming masters going from the active voice to the passive voice. But you're not quite done yet. You still have some homework to do. Everybody loves homework, right? I would like for you to change this sentence into the passive voice. Mike taught the passive voice. Again, change this sentence into the passive voice and put it in the comments below. Also, you have a quiz. You will find a link in the description. If you really enjoyed this video, hit the like button as well as subscribe to see more lessons taught by me. But until the next video, I will see you all later. Bye.